Hey everyone, Leanne here from Kingdom Bloggers. So today we are going to talk about something that might actually ruffle a few feathers in amongst Christians and believers, but I think it's something that we really need to talk about. So I'm going to start this off by saying we as Christians, as believers, need to mind our own business. Okay, so before you hang up on me, before you're like, I do not want to hear what this woman has to say, just hear me out. First Thessalonians 4:11 says this, and to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, you should mind your own business and work with your hands, just as we told you. So let's put that in perspective in what I'm talking about. And I think we can all agree on this. As Christians, we tend, the habit is to go around and just sort of point out what everybody else is doing wrong. Yes, we can have the whole discussion on we're supposed to call out sin and all that, but that's really not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is if you are someone who spends more time pointing out what everybody else is doing wrong, what everybody else is doing that's not according to God, not according to the Bible, how much time are you actually, how much time is left for you to be focusing on yourself, to building your relationship with God? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when we all, are there to meet our maker at the pearly gates, we have to account for our own self. And, being a Christian, being a believer, following Jesus is a voluntary action. Like we can't beat people into being a believer, right? That's just kind of defeats the whole point of freedom is if you make people take it. And so, but what I've noticed is many good intending believers, Christians, just spend so much time worrying about what everyone else is doing. Oh, she got a divorce. I can't believe she did that. Oh, and it just becomes this like, but in no point in that do they ever really have enough time to truly work on their own relationship, truly work on the fruits of the spirit within themselves because they're so busy trying to fix everybody else. God didn't call us to go fix everybody else. He called us to share the good news so that people know the truth, but it's up to them to follow that truth. But ultimately, it's up to us to hone and solidify our relationship with God, right? So if we're out there spending our time, spending our days doing nothing but calling everybody else out, we're kind of really not doing what God wants us to do. We need to have a solid relationship with God. We need to have continuous self reflection. Morning prayer, cool. But is that really time for your self reflection? Are you really sitting down and saying, you know, am I meeting the fruits of the spirit? How am I building the fruits of the spirit within myself? And spend more time actively trying to pursue that, fix yourself, than trying to fix everybody else. I always like in relationships, they say you can't fix somebody. You can show them the way, but it's ultimately up to them to fix themselves. But that comes right back at us as well. And so I just think it's really funny that, those of us people who make it a, part of their life to share the Bible, share the good news, which we should all be doing, forget that in sharing it, we're also supposed to reflect it. Not just, I told you, we're supposed to embody it and live it in our own life so that people like, when you tell your kids something, they're like, uh-huh. But if they don't see you acting out what you're telling them is right or wrong, then they don't really believe it. But if you model the behavior for them, then they pick up on it because they see you doing it. And that is kind of the way it should be for us as well. So we should spend less time going out there with lip service and more time just re-examining our own heart, our own motives, our own actions to ensure that when we step out in front of others, whether it's physically like in your neighborhood or here, online, whatever, on social media, examine our own selves and mind our business, mind our own business, literally, so that everything we do, everything we say, every action that is portrayed through us truly reflects the light of Jesus. Because ultimately, that's how we're going to get the non believers to come over to our side and be a part of the family. So, anyway, I just wanted to encourage you with that today. Again, I know that was kind of like, whoa, she told me to mind my business. I meant it with love. We are not doing God, we're doing him a disservice when we don't approach it that way. And so we are to live out like what it means to be a Christian is not about telling people what to do, it's about showing them. And so I encourage you today to take a step back, take a moment to reflect on your own actions, how you've handled situations, how you've dealt with people, and all the things that you're out there criticizing of others. Maybe take a look at those same traits in yourself and really examine if you are doing them from a godly perspective. And if people would see that in you and think of you a little more highly because what you're saying you're also doing. And so like practice what you preach, I guess, is a better way to say it. So anyway, I would love to hear your feedback. Drop some comments below, let me know. Please be nice to me. Be nice and Christian like people. And be sure to like this video and follow us here at Kingdom Blogger so you can get new daily or weekly devotionals every week here. So all right, everyone, God bless and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.